Hey beautiful people, what is up? Welcome back to another video. Okay, so I'm obviously sitting outside. I'm obviously not home. And I wasn't really sure what I was gonna do, if I was gonna film this. Also, look at how shiny my forehead looks. Jesus. Like, the sun is giving life, but it's also making me look super shiny. Anyways, you guys saw from the title and the thumbnail, I've decided to give you guys another what's in my makeup bag when I travel. And the reason why I'm filming this now is because I'm traveling and I am super early for check-in at the hotel. So I have about an hour to kill. So why not film a video sitting outside in the sun? Also, ignore the little pimple patch. It is what it is. Anyways, so I have with me my makeup bag. It's the same makeup bag from the last video because, quite frankly, this is what I've been enjoying traveling with so far. I really appreciate the fact that when this opens up, it opens flat and everything is just like contained there. And it's also, in my opinion, very compact. Like, compact enough that when I put this in my carry-on, it doesn't feel like it takes up too much space. And that's the thing that I try to like navigate when it comes to travel makeup, is making sure it doesn't take up too much space. So that's what it is. Also, I know I have my sunglasses on. It's really because I'm like sitting directly with the sun at me. So if I don't, is that a fly or a bee? If I don't wear the sunglasses, I'm just gonna be squinting at y'all, which is not cute, right? Like, nobody wants that. So excuse the sunglasses for now. That's what we're gonna go with. Anyways, so again, I picked this up from Aldi's. I don't know about y'all, but I love me some Aldi's because Aldi's has like some of the best, just like random finds. Now, you can find makeup bags like this on Amazon, so you don't have to like get it at Aldi's, because you know one thing about Aldi's is that their products are limited time. Like, that's what it is for the 1 week and then it's gone. But I did get this at Aldi's. You can find similar ones on Amazon. Various makeup brands carry it as well. Just go with the cheapest. I don't think you have to spend a ton of money, because I paid $9.99 for this at Aldi's and it was completely fine. Now, like I said, it opens flat like this, so it closes up like that, but it opens really flat. And there are two pockets on the side if you wanted a little bit more organization. I don't feel like I need it, but if you do, there's a couple of pockets for organization. Now, this is slightly different than the last what's in my travel bag. Not all the way, but I did actually rotate out a couple of products. So some of this might seem familiar, but some of this might actually feel new and different. And if you can hear the background, this hotel is literally off the highway, y'all. Like, the highway is right there. But let's just dive in. So, and in no particular order, like, I'm not going in the order in which I typically apply my makeup. I'm just grabbing from this bag to show y'all. So I actually packed with me my trusty mattifying primer and setting spray from Milk. I have been using this for quite some time, I think over a year now, and I figured out that this is one of my favorite mattifying sort of primer setting spray combos. The primer by itself is great. It doesn't dry out the skin, but it really does help set your face and give you like a really matte base to work with. And the setting spray, I think, is really good for mattifying. Is it my favorite? No, I still think the Charlotte Tilbury is better, but this is actually really good as well. So I think the thing that I don't like about this is the sprayer. The sprayer on this bottle sucks. But taking that aside, the actual product inside here is really good. So I have the travel size in this, and I think this is the full size of the Milk mattifying primer. If not, this might be the travel size. Either way, this combination together is great, and by itself it's great if you just wanted to pack one. For foundation, if you know, the Lancome Teint Idole is my like go-to when it comes to mattifying foundation. And if you know, when I travel, I typically have very long days, and I am naturally an oily skin gal. So because I'm traveling and I have oily skin, I try to stick with mattifying products overall. You see, this fly/bee is stressing me out because I can't figure out if it's a fly or if it's a bee. If it's a fly, fine. You know what? Fly away. But if it's a bee and I get sting, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay, tangent off of the tangent. The Lancome Teint Idole foundation. If you have oily skin, this is going to be your holy grail. And I posted this when it was on sale during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale. So if you wanted, you could have bought it from Ulta, you could have bought it from Sephora. I think I bought mine from Sephora. Now, I have about like a quarter left in this bottle. And this foundation, I think, retails for about $54. So it's not cheap by any means. So So because it was on sale for half off, even though I haven't finished this one up, and I'm trying not to do the whole backups thing anymore, but even though I haven't finished this one up, I still went ahead and actually bought a full bottle during the Ultra 21 day sale, because that was like the best price that you're gonna get on it. Okay, next up, and I'll show you guys this quickly because I want to put this somewhere else, because I heard that these melt. But anyways, for the Sephora Friends and Family sale, which I think it just ended, which is basically, if you know somebody that works for Sephora, they end up getting a coupon code for 20% off. It's kind of like the pre-VIB sale, but you have to know somebody that works for Sephora for them to give you the code in order for you to shop. I don't know nobody that works for Sephora, but God bless. Some of you guys were so sweet, and I did have somebody reach out to me and send me a link so I could sign up using one of the codes that they had received. So thank you so much. So I was able to pick up a couple of things during that Friends and Family sale for 20% off. And I decided to pick up 2 of the Danessa Myricks. I don't know what this is called. What is this even called? Color fix sticks. Now, Danessa has these color fixes, which are liquid shadows or liquid makeups, because I think you could use it on the eyes, the face, everything. She does do these sort of multifunctional products, right? And but honestly, the packaging and the format of that was not something that I was going to use. But because this is in a stick formula, I was like, yes, please. So I went to the store with my friends Daphne and Jana, and my accent is really heavy right now. I recognize that fully. Anyways, I went to the store with Jana and Daphne a couple weeks ago, and I swatched all of them, and I decided to grab the number 6 duo and the number 3 duo. Now these retail, I think, for like $34 to $38, which, to be frank, isn't bad, because you actually getting 2 products in here. So the sticks come like this. You can detach it. This little magnet piece is what keeps it together, and you have 2 different, basically like single shadows here. And the thing about this is that you get 2 different finishes as well. One is a metallic, one is a foil. Both of them are like extra like shiny. So because what I've been doing really pretty much for the last month or so, my sort of go-to look has been to take a single shimmer shade, put it all over the lid, and then blend it out with a matte. Honestly, not even a matte. I've been going in with my bronzer and just blending out the creases, blending out the edges. So I thought that this would be really cool to travel with, because it's compact, it's small. You get this is technically 4 shadows, and I could detach them if I needed to. Now Duo 3 and Duo 6, very, very similar. They're a little bit on it. I think 3 is more warm versus 6 is more cool toned. Should I swatch these for you guys? I don't want to start swatching because I'm sitting outside and I don't have anything with me to wipe it off, and I don't know what I'm showing you guys. So I'm not going to swatch it, but I do want to do a video trying these. I've watched a couple of reviews on them. I've heard, one, that they dry really quickly, so you have to, once you apply it, you have to start blending almost immediately. And 2, these are very, very high shine, impactful. And granted, even though I like a shimmer shade with a matte in the crease to blend it out, I still don't want it to be crazy impactful. And when I swatched them in store, I didn't love the texture, but I also hadn't blended it out on the eyes. So really, I'm looking forward to seeing how that works for me and if I love it. If I do, I might get another 1 or 2 of the sticks, because I think it's reasonably priced, and it is something that I would use because I have been using these single shadows. To be honest, my go-to look has been this one platinum bronze matte liquid shadow. Not matte, liquid shadow. It's a shimmer liquid shadow. I've been using that all over the lids and then blending it out with my bronzer from Hourglass. Speaking about my bronzer from Hourglass, the next product I want to show you guys is my Hourglass, what is it? Lighting Palette Volume 3. Now, I showed you guys this in my last what makeup did I pack with me when I travel video, and this is still a necessity for me. Now, this is a very, very multifunctional palette. So in addition to the bronzer, the finishing powder, and the, what is this even called? The strobe light. The only thing that I really play around with is the bronzer and the finishing powder. I use the bronzer as like eyeshadow. I really do use it to buff out my crease, because I think it's like the perfect slightly red or not too red shade for like any single shade that I put on the eyes, I can go in with this bronzer and it looks really good blending it out. And then the finishing powder I do kind of just use to like buff all over my face to give that blurred effect. The strobe light is too dark for me. Now this palette is designed for deep dark skin tones. I am a medium deep complexion. No, I'm a little bit on my darker side because it is coming to the end of summer. I was trying to be outside, so I did get a little bit of sun. But once I'm in my lighter side, you know, like peak winter, and even now this strobe light is too dark for me. So sometimes, and I mean very rarely, I will use the strobe light as a shimmer shade in itself. So I would use that as an eyeshadow and then buff it out with that same bronzer. So it's a very versatile palette. Like I could simply just travel with this and get so much done outside of like the base, like the foundation, complexion, blah blah blah, you know. Going back to base products, I did bring my Tom Ford. This is the Traceless Matte Concealer. I have so many of these. I want to say I have like at least 4 or 5 of these in my backup drawer. And that's because this was on clearance at the CCO. And I love the formulation of this concealer. I will say that in recent times, I've been noticing a little bit more creasing when it comes to concealers, liquid concealers. But this one doesn't crease on me at all. So once this one went on clearance, I bought as much as I could. And to be quite honest, the amount of product that this includes, this is a pretty brand new one. I think I've used this a handful of times. This is $60, and this is all the product you get for $60. This is it. This is all of the product you're going to get for $60. So if you could imagine, this runs out very, very quickly. So I actually emptied 2 of these. This is a pretty new one that I just started. And it's a very good concealer. It's also, I wear the shade 6WO, which is Terra, and quite frankly it is pretty much my skin tone, so it doesn't give me a ton of brightness, but I don't like a super stark under eye anyway. So for me, what it does is it kind of evens out my skin tone. Hear the noise? And if I don't want to do a really bright under eye, if I don't want to do a even if I don't want to wear foundation and I just want to spot conceal, this is really good for spot concealing for me as well. Okay, still have a couple more to go. I did pack my Shop Miss A sponge. I typically will use brushes when I'm traveling, but I pack a sponge just in case. I have my About Face mascara. This is actually a pretty decent mascara. Nothing too like extraordinary or out of this world, but pretty good. I have no complaints about it. My holy grail, if you know, you know. This is the Sydney Grace lip cream in the shade Tracy. This is probably the most iconic shade for me because I can wear it without a lip liner and it just works. It's also a lip cream, so it's not matte, and I do not love matte lipsticks because my lips just be crusty and dry, okay? And it makes me very uncomfortable to wear matte lipsticks for too long, except for like Lisa Eldridge. I could do a Lisa Eldridge, but most other lipsticks make me very uncomfortable. So I like things that are more creamy and more like, even though they don't have the same longevity, more comfortable in my opinion. Speaking about comfortable, I also packed my Blend Bunny lip gloss oil in the shade Fiction. This is just a chocolate brown. You could never go wrong with a chocolate brown. Like, you are always safe with a chocolate brown, like lip anything. Okay, keeping it moving, I have 2 sets of like duo pencils. Both of these are from Esum Cosmetics. Both of these are the eye pencils. So the first one is in the shade brown and gold. So you have brown on one side, gold on the other side. And the next one is actually black and silver. So you have black on one side, silver on the next side. I love this because again, you're getting 2 for like 1. And because this is, it's really the size of 1 pencil. When I pack this, I'm getting double the amount of products, but it's not taking up double the amount of space, if that makes sense. And I'm just grabbing all the little itty bitty things. In terms of my brow pencil, I have been using this Mez Beauty brow, what is this called? Refined Brow Automatic Brow Liner. Love this. Really good quality. This is only $10. So if you want a good brow pencil, I would definitely recommend this. And I had gotten this in PR and never really used it, but then I ran out of my Benefit brow pencils and I tried this, and y'all, it kind of feels like the Benefit brow pencil. Don't say I said it, but it kind of does. Like, for real. Okay. Couple other products. So I have a black liquid liner, a brown liquid liner. This one is a felt tip. This one is kind of like a brush. I prefer brown liners overall because it's less harsh, it's less dramatic than a black liner. But I always keep a black just in case. I have my Juvia's Place brow gel. This is actually really nice. It's also really good if you don't want to fill in your brows with like a pencil and you just want a little bit of pigment to give you a little extra something. That's really good for just like swiping if you just want to give your brows like some pigment so it looks like you have more brows. I really like the brow gel. My Pat McGrath eyeshadow primer. This is an amazing eyeshadow base. I didn't realize how good this was, you guys. First and foremost, let me just say, in terms of the color of this base, it is like pretty translucent. One of the problems that I have with most eyeshadow primers is the fact that they tend to leave like a white cast on the eyes, and I don't love that. I just kind of want it to create like a nice base for the shadow without changing the color of my lids, you know? And if it does change the color of my lids, like concealer is the best option for me in that regard because all the other ones are way too light for me. That's just for me. So I think those are all of like the little ones. Next up, I want to show you guys my blush. So I packed one blush really. This is the Pat McGrath. This is one of their blush duos in the shade Paradise Glow. Now I picked this one because it really is a very sort of like neutral, everyday wearable shade. So regardless of whatever I have on my eyes or whatever I'm wearing, it's not gonna look crazy. And funny story about this, and you can see here, this is a little bit melted. I don't know how, but this was sitting on my makeup desk, and apparently the sun was coming through at like the right angle that it actually melted the packaging. Crazy work. I was so confused. For my bronzer, I packed my Dior Forever bronze. This was the old bronzer from Dior, but I had a backup and I really love this one. This is in the shade number 8, and this Dior used to be my favorite bronzer because of how neutral it was. When it comes to bronzers, a lot of the times they like to give you that red, super red undertone, especially if you have a deeper complexion, and to me that just looks crazy. Like when it's too red, it just looks like either you've been burnt or punched or somebody beat the crap out of you. So I like it to be more neutral than more red, if that makes sense. And don't come on my page trying to tell me that bronzers are meant to warm, you know, it's supposed to be red, and I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that. On me, it looks stupid. So if you like it on the red side, I am happy for you. But for me, once it's a red undertone, it really does look bad on my skin. It's too harsh for me, or at least in my opinion. I don't like to see it. But if you like it, I love it. Okay, to set my whole face, I have my Sephora Micro Smooth Powder. This is one of my absolute favorites. Now, this is technically a powder foundation, but I use it just to set my full face. You can go in real lightly with this. You can go in with a heavier hand, but this is just a really good, solid powder that they've had for many, many years. Now, I do believe that they reformulated this. I don't know if it was to take away talc or whatever it was, but they have reformulated this. So I think during the next VIB sale, I might want to pick up one just to compare and see if they actually did change the formula, because I know that it was off the site for a while and then it came back on. So I'm not sure what has changed, but I might want to pick up one to try. Okay, like 3 more products. Let me show you guys this one first. So I have just a lip balm. This is from Laneige. This is in here, but I honestly have like 2 more probably in my bag. There's always a lip balm thrown somewhere. Let's just say that. I have for eyeshadow like a basic quad. This is my YSL quad, and this is in the shade, I don't know what the shade is. What is it? 710. I don't know what that means. Oh, and it's missing a brush. Oh well. So this is my YSL. This is probably, I think this is my only YSL quad. It's a very, very neutral palette, and not even like warm neutral. I'm talking about like straight up neutral. And I tried this. I think I did a video with this. Love the formulation of this. Love how it applies on the skin. This is just a solid quad. I love a good quad. You guys know I have a ton of Tom Ford quads. I do think some of these other luxury brands like YSL, who else? Guerlain, they are coming for Tom Ford in the quad family. Something is buzzing. Okay, they are coming for Tom Ford. So Tom Ford may not be my favorite quad brand at all anymore. Okay, and last but certainly not least, I packed my brand new Hourglass Fox palette. Now this is for holiday 2026, which I think they released pretty early, but this is the deepest in the 2026 holiday palettes. This is the Fox palette. Now when it comes to the Hourglass palettes, I really genuinely do use them. Now, it could be, arguments could be made that they release the exact same palettes every year in terms of like the shades. The shades are not substantially different. Like there may be slight undertones and depth changes, but overall, very similar color stories. But in terms of like how often I use these palettes, it does make it worth it for me. And I'm always very curious because Hourglass is not necessarily known for their excellent shade ranges, especially when it comes to these powders. So I do plan to do a full review on this, show you guys how it applies on my skin. Again, I'm a medium deep complexion, which means that it's gonna work for me, but like for people that are deeper than me, it may not be ideal. But I do want to say that even for me as a medium deep complexion, I don't necessarily use all of these products in the way that they're listed to be used. So a lot of times the bronzers in this palette, in their palettes, aren't actual bronzers for me. So I use them as finishing powders. So I think that even if you can't use it in the way that it's intended to be used, or it's labeled as how it's supposed to be used, you can use it in different ways. Because a lot of times the finishing powders are too light, so I use them as like under eye highlighting powders. So you just have to make it work for you. It is very expensive though, so like if you don't want to have to finagle or figure out the other ways to make it work, don't spend your money on this if you don't think that you're going to use it. For me, it is a pretty good investment because I do actually use these palettes very, very often. I always travel with one of these, and when I'm at home, I tend to reach for these quite often because I do love the finish of the Hourglass powders. Now, I also want to flag that like when people see these palettes and they see people swatch it, they're like, oh, it's not deep enough, blah, blah, blah. They don't swatch well. I don't know how else to explain it, but Hourglass palettes swatch like hot garbage. But on the face is where they really transform and where you really get to see the magic of their powders, because it does create that very sort of soft, blurred effect. And I think that this is particularly useful for beginners to makeup or people that are intimidated by too much pigment, because a lot of times like we see pigment as like the be all and the end all, and like you want it to be really pigmented. But when you are not a professional at makeup, pigmented products can be very intimidating because it's hard to blend out. It's harder to blend out than it is to like build. So because of the sort of formula of the Hourglass palettes and their softness, which you see in the way in which they swatch, it's easy to build them up, but it's also like really good if you want to start light and you're a little bit timid with how you want to apply them. So for me, absolutely love it. But I'm looking forward, I haven't even swatched this one yet, so I'm looking forward to actually trying it on this work trip, because that's the only palette that I have outside of like that other blush palette from Pat McGrath. That is the only like other blushes that I have. So I'm primarily planning to use that as my main products. So that is it, you guys. That is everything. I'm just packing it all back right now. That is everything in my travel makeup bag. So I hope you enjoy. Oh, Vanessa. That's what Kara says, and I just love it. So this is everything that's in my travel makeup bag. I'm gonna go ahead, put this back all in my suitcase. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. You know the drill. And yeah, leave a comment down below, like any questions that you guys have about any of these specific products. What is a must-have that you always travel with? What's in your travel bag? That's what I want to know. And if you just want to support the channel and you don't want to leave a super long comment, leave an orange heart. All of that helps. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.